Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to the 7th day comic book news recap video with Adam from Geek Rest.
And Aaron from a comic shop.
And it is the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
So happy Thanksgiving.
It was a weird week, man. I was like, I didn't even know what day of the week it was.
Dude,
you know?
I'm like thinking it's Friday, and then tomorrow's Thursday, the next day's Wednesday. That's how backwards I am.
I knew Black Friday was Friday, but it felt like a Saturday.
Yeah.
And Saturday felt like, a Sunday where you didn't have to go to church. They still make you go to church here in Florida.
Yeah, I know. It's because of Obama.
Nah,
he had nothing to do with that.
Nah.
Worst joke ever.
Yeah, he likes to play golf on Sundays.
Who doesn't?
I don't know.
In Florida.
I don't play golf.
Point is, slow news week.
Yes.
Super slow news week.
That's right.
But there were two things that were confirmed, basically from Marvel, that we talked about last week. There was the SNIT teaser.
Right.
For starters. Wolverine. It's a new Wolverine book. Everyone was thinking it's going to be, was it Dawkins or X-23?
Yeah.
It's Wolverine.
Well, Dawkins, if you read the issue of Uncanny X-Force this week, you would have not have guessed that.
Yeah.
X-23,
Spoiler.
we know she's going to be in that Avengers Arena. Perhaps she doesn't survive that. Perhaps that book is open-ended. And it's ongoing, so who knows when she'll ever get back to,
Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
But,
Hunger Flies.
The Hunger Flies. So that's it. That's two Wolverine titles now for Marvel now.
This is Paul Cornell with Alan Davis. It's Alan Davis, who also used to work a lot with Chris Claremont. So Paul Cornell is like,
And Paul Cornell, now that they talked about it, since it's been announced, and he wants to go back to the roots of Wolverine as a man, and not the beast. And it's set in New York, which is, not from New York. You get that. It's funny. Who knows? That's cool, but that joins Frank Cho's other Wolverine title, which launches. So
I hope that title's going to have a lot of sexy she-devil.
Shana.
It's probably set in the Savage Land. It's called Savage
Wolverine.
And we've seen the other characters in the promo art, so
which is kind of cool polar opposites. As one book is the Savage Wolverine, the other book is trying to be the man, as Cornell says. So that's cool. Who knows what happens with that? But I'll be reading.
I like Paul Cornell. I've liked him in most everything he's done. So.
Read Saucer Country. If you haven't already, read that.
Right.
And the other book, Age of Ultron, no big teaser there. I guess that was revealed because it's spelled out Age of Ultron in the binary.
Right. And we knew this was coming. Yeah. We didn't know exactly how it was going to come or when it was going to come. We knew it was coming.
It's coming. It's in March. It's a 10-issue limited series. That's it.
Age of Ultron is going to be good. It's going to be fun. Whether you like Ultron or not, this is going to be a big epic that Bendis does. That's, instead of having, like with Avengers where you'd have several issues of them sitting around talking, which I love his dialogue.
They're great.
But, several issues of them sitting around talking and then a big crescendo event like, boom, House of M, boom, Civil War, boom, Secret Invasion, boom, Siege. This is just one of those big crescendo things. So if you're the type of person like, I don't like all them talk Bendis, I'm done with that, you might really like this because it's just going to be an event miniseries book.
Right.
So.
Did you read the last book of Avengers Assemble? Where it's basically just them talking the entire time. He's like, what kind of shake you making, Kale? It's like, that's fun. And how many, Bendis does book after book after book.
Yes.
Mostly Avengers, but.
And he also teaches.
Is he a professor?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you get for not going to conventions.
So.
Doesn't do them. And that was pretty much it as far as the comic book, the big announcements, releases. It's Thanksgiving week. It's a slow week, but there was the CGC thing, which kind of slipped out there. It's not a big news item, but what was it? Classics Incorporated. CGC purchased Classics Incorporated. And they are a restoration company. They restore comics for... I understand the appeal of doing that, but they steam it, they get the wrinkles out, they brighten the colors,
trim it.
Yeah, trim the edges, and they make it more appealing, usually for someone to grade the book. Even though when that book is graded and it has been restored, it's labeled as having been restored.
Yeah, and that was like the mark of death for CGC because I used to work for someone that did a lot of CGC. I drove it down there because that's just Sarasota. It's a reasonable drive from Orlando.
Yeah.
And, that was that purple label where there would be, I don't want to call them snobs because I don't really know. I mean, as far as collectors, you got a right to demand whatever you want to demand.
Right.
But if they saw the purple label, they weren't having it.
Right.
And if they put something into grade and it came back with a purple label, they were pissed. Because whoever they bought it from told them it wasn't restored, you know? So it's like they're buying their enemy in a way, which is kind of weird, but,
It's a mixed bag. I'm not a huge fan of CGC. I mean, I understand, for collectors.
And for old stuff and have it verified. Because, I can see the point because the shadiness of the comic book kind of underbelly of cons and buying stuff off of old ladies and restoring it or this or that or the other or whatnot. And this is an independent agency that says this is what it is. And then with the advent of eBay, then you can bid with confidence that you're getting what it is.
Yeah.
Now, when it's new books, I think that's total crap. I think new books are entertainment and should just be read for fun.
It's like playing the lotto with new books because everyone gets everything graded 9.8, whatever, off the rack. And then maybe one day, it'll become... New Mutants 98 or something like that.
The people with those new books is a little bit like, OCD. I mean, it's a lot like Clerks when that dude was looking for the perfect carton of eggs, It's like... Because, I would see people on the shelves here at the comic shop, looking for the best copy and whatnot. Yeah. And it's just like,
I'm a little guilty of doing that.
I don't know. It's weird. Like, I don't want to buy something all crapped up, but still, it's kind of weird.
But you gotta admit, there's a lot of room in the CGC world, for... I just always felt like there's a lot of room for corruption or something. If you take a classic book like Fantastic Four, it's graded this amount. It's $2,000, or something in value. Whereas then if you take it out of the plastic, if you ever wanted to get it graded again, and if it's off because somebody else did it, it's like $2,000 less. And it's just that's the market.
I've heard of people that cracked it open and sent it back and got a higher grade, sending the same thing back.
Right.
So. It's like it's a little weird. They say it's not objective, but it has to be a little bit objective.
It has to be when it's a person-to-person basis.
And perhaps if it's a huge account that sends all this stuff in, they might. I don't know, but
it's interesting.
That stuff is interesting, and my point. If you're really into collecting, get the original art. The original art's cool.
Right.
You don't have to be all OCD about the condition of everything. You got the original art. It's one of a kind.
And generally you can buy that straight from the creator
and it always goes up because it's one of a kind.
Right.
That's what I would do if I was a big collector. But
when we were in New York, I almost bought Ryan Kelly's artwork just because that thing, some of his pieces, beautiful. It was Saucer Country, going back to that. But I was just they don't even know the value of their own work. And Paulo Rivera, too, he's selling the originals for I don't know, it's 200.
Yeah, I got that page from Shane Davis where he drew me in the comic. Gratis.
Priceless.
So you got a ROM comic there. Why? Are you obsessing over ROM?
The Age of Ultron thing, when Marvel started to release the artwork for it, they did a one-panel shot. And it was a black and white poster, and it was kind of a throwback to, now I know, the Mighty Avengers number 12, where there are all these Polaroid pictures on the wall. And in this new artwork, smack dab in the middle, is a little Polaroid of Rom.
Right.
This guy, Rom.
Right.
And got everyone talking.
And there's been editors and writers and whatnot saying, we can't do anything with Rom because it's a Hasbro property. Well, Hasbro hasn't done anything with it.
Right.
And since then, Disney has bought Marvel. If they put that as a writer in the deal, all right, we'll do this. But you know what's really stuck in my craw? That we don't own ROM. We'll sign this deal for X billion dollars, whatever, but you gotta secure ROM from that.
It got people excited. People got excited about that, the whole ROM thing.
It wouldn't be there if they didn't want people to get riled up. And basically, and they have those reprints of the Space Knights coming out.
Right.
But you have this robot villain.
Galactic.
Right. You got this robot villain, and then you got this robot Space Knight thing. It just seems to me like I want to see Rock'em Sock'em robots,
Right.
That's what I want to see. So give it to me, Marvel.
You can do it. And I always thought, Hasbro just has to license the character out back to Marvel. That's pretty much, because I thought if anyone was going to do something with ROM, it'd be IDW, because they own all those Hasbro licenses.
They have, right of first refusal.
Right.
Yes.
So, but, it was Marvel's...
Speaking of which, they're coming out with My Little Pony this coming week, and I already read a PDF of it. It was brilliant.
Yeah. Is that why the shirt? This little product placement?
Well, you know, I mean, this was like Black Friday at Hot Topic. You know, I gotta be there. I gotta get my half off My Little Pony shirts.
Yeah. You wear it well. It's good. And it should. But yeah, that does come out. So, you know, and Mars Attacks versus, you know, My Little
Everyone.
Pony, maybe. That
I
comes
would
out.
love that. I would just love Mars Attacks versus My Little Pony. That'd be fun.
It could happen.
But, you know, I want to see Popeye fighting them with just like, you know,
That's
just
the first one out of the gate. So who knows?
forearms.
That was it. Slow week. Apologize. You know, it's just like a Thanksgiving week, man. That's, you know, Thanksgiving starts on a Wednesday and then the holiday. And
And
then,
we really can't say much about what happened in Spider-Man without spoiling stuff.
you don't
So
want to know.
it was fun. It was cool. It pissed
It's
me
fun.
off.
Yeah.
After I read 699, I'm a little bit more excited. But yeah, 698, the
I'm
final
reading that
couple
tonight.
pages pissed me off.
Right.
But, you know, in a good way, though.
In a
Like,
good way. Whatever. We're saving our energy for next week because there's going to be a lot more stuff coming out. So, you know. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter as always.
Yeah.
And,
Get My Little Pony next week.
get a little My Little Pony, you know, number 1, because he needs to know how many of number 2 to order.
And get it CGC.
Get graded as fast as you can. And see you next week.